The air hung thick, a suffocating blanket of dread, as he stared at the faded numbers. 6, 6, 6, a mocking whisper in the desolate hallway. His hand trembled, sweat beading on his brow, the key cold against his palm. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to flee this forgotten place. But a morbid curiosity, a desperate need for answers held him captive. The door, a maw of ancient wood, seemed to breathe, beckoning him closer. A faint, guttural moan echoed from within, chilling him to the bone. He pushed the key into the lock, the click reverberating like a gunshot. The door groaned open, revealing an abyss of impenetrable darkness. A wave of frigid air, smelling of dust and decay, washed over him. He fumbled for his phone, its weak flashlight beam swallowed by the void. Shapes began to coalesce in the gloom, indistinct and unsettling. Was that a child's toy, half buried in the grime, or something far worse? The whispers grew louder, weaving a tapestry of forgotten sorrows. He stepped inside, the heavy door swinging shut behind him with a thud. Trapped. The realization hit him like a physical blow. The air grew heavy with a palpable sense of sorrow, a lingering despair. He moved deeper into the room, his flashlight beam dancing across peeling wallpaper. Faded photographs adorned a dusty mantelpiece, faces contorted in silent agony. A child's drawing, crudely sketched, depicted a monstrous figure in the corner. He felt an unseen presence, a cold breath on his neck, raising goosebumps. The scratching intensified, a desperate plea from beyond the veil. This room wasn't just old, it was a tomb, a repository of suffering. He knew, with chilling certainty, that he was not alone. The whispers coalesced, forming fragments of desperate pleas and ancient curses. He pressed his ear against the cold, damp wallpaper, trying to decipher them. The room itself seemed to be alive, its very structure groaning in agony. He saw movement in his peripheral vision, fleeting shadows that vanished when he turned. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the suffocating silence. He felt a sudden, sharp pain, as if something had clawed at his back. Panic began to set in, a cold, creeping tendril around his sanity. He needed to understand, to unravel the room's dark secrets before it consumed him. A tarnished mirror hung on the far wall, its surface clouded with age and malice. He approached it cautiously, his reflection wavering, distorted, almost alien. Suddenly, his reflection moved independently, a grotesque parody of his fear. Its eyes, black pits of despair, stared back, a silent, chilling accusation. A guttural chuckle echoed from the mirror, not his own, but something ancient. He recoiled, stumbling backward, the glass cracking with a sharp report. The reflection remained, now smiling, its teeth too sharp, too numerous. He was trapped, not just in the room, but in the mirror's malevolent gaze. A cold, unseen hand brushed against his cheek, sending shivers down his spine. He spun around, his flashlight beam cutting through the oppressive darkness. Nothing. Only the dust motes dancing in the faint light, but the sensation lingered, a phantom touch, a chilling reminder. The air grew heavy, thick with an unseen presence, pressing down on him. He felt a sudden weight on his shoulders, pushing him to his knees. A child's toy, a porcelain doll with vacant eyes, clattered to the floor beside him. He scrambled backward, his mind screaming, desperate to escape this torment. The room began to shift, walls warping, the floor tilting beneath his feet. He stumbled, clutching at a decaying armchair, his senses reeling. The furniture rearranged itself, defying the laws of physics, mocking his sanity. Windows appeared where there were none, showing glimpses of impossible landscapes. He saw faces in the patterns of the wallpaper, screaming silently. His own reflection in a shattered shard of glass was no longer his own. Reality fractured, dissolving into a kaleidoscope of terror and despair. He was losing his mind, or perhaps the room was simply revealing its true nature. A voice ancient and malevolent echoed from the very fabric of the room, It spoke of forgotten rituals, of sacrifices made in the name of darkness. It promised eternal torment, a fate worse than death for all who entered. He clutched his head, the words searing into his brain, driving him mad. The room pulsed with an unholy energy, the air thick with despair. He saw visions of unspeakable horrors, of blood and agony, an endless night. The voice was a symphony of suffering, a testament to the room's power. It was the voice of the damned, and it was claiming him as its own. He lunged for the door, his only thought to escape this living nightmare. He pounded on the ancient wood, his fists raw, screaming for help. The door remained unyielding, a cruel mockery of his desperate efforts. He tried the windows, but they were bricked up, leading nowhere. Panic consumed him, a primal fear that gnawed at his very soul. He could hear the demonic voice growing louder, closer, more insistent. There was no escape. The room had claimed him, body and soul. He collapsed against the wall, tears streaming down his face, utterly defeated. The entity lunged, its shadowy form engulfing him in an instant. A searing pain ripped through his body, his mind screaming in agony. He felt a foreign presence invade him, twisting his thoughts, corrupting his soul. His own voice, now guttural and distorted, spoke words not his own. His limbs moved independently, his body a puppet to the entity's will. He saw through its eyes a world of darkness, pain, and endless hunger. His consciousness receded, a tiny spark flickering in a vast ocean of evil. He was no longer himself. He was merely a vessel, a host for the damned. The entity lunged, its shadowy form engulfing him in an instant. A searing pain ripped through his body, his mind screaming in agony. He felt a foreign presence invade him, twisting his thoughts, corrupting his soul. His own voice, now guttural and distorted, spoke words not his own. His limbs moved independently, his body a puppet to the entity's will. He saw through its eyes a world of darkness, pain, and endless hunger. His consciousness receded, a tiny spark flickering in a vast ocean of evil. He was no longer himself. He was merely a vessel, a host for the damned. Through the entity's eyes, he saw the room's true, horrifying nature. It was not merely a room, but a nexus, a gateway to a darker dimension. Each object, each shadow, was imbued with the suffering of countless victims. The whispers were their dying pleas, their souls trapped within the walls. The mirror was a window into their torment, a reflection of their despair. The entity was the guardian, the collector of souls feeding on fear. Room. He watched, a helpless passenger, as the entity replayed his arrival. The trembling hand, the cold key, the fated number 666. He saw himself, a fresh victim stepping into the abyss of darkness. The cycle was endless, a perpetual torment for all who dared to enter. The entity fed on their fear, their despair, their shattered sanity. He was now a part of the room's mechanism, a silent observer of new horrors. His scream was trapped within, unheard, unheeded, a silent echo. Room 666 would continue its macabre dance, forever claiming new souls. Days, weeks, months blurred into an eternity of silent observation. He saw others come, drawn by curiosity, by desperation, by fate. Each met the same end, their souls consumed, their bodies becoming vessels. He tried to warn them, to scream, but no sound escaped his possessed lips. His only hope was to leave a sign, a desperate message for the next victim. With the last vestiges of his will, he guided a trembling hand. He scrawled a single word on the dusty floor, a silent, chilling warning. Flee, a final act of defiance against the room's eternal hunger. The new victim entered, oblivious to the horrors that awaited them. The door closed, sealing their fate, adding another soul to the collection. The room pulsed with a quiet satisfaction, its hunger momentarily sated. He watched, a silent sentinel, another ghost in the machine. The cycle continued, an unending nightmare, a perpetual damnation. Room 666 stood, an insidious monument to terror, forever waiting. Its secrets remained, whispered on the wind, etched into the very air. And somewhere, in the depths of its malevolent heart, he still existed.